It's Megadeth right here on your classic metal show from the Rust in Peace release. That is the Tornado of Souls. And would you say that would be the peak of Megadeth, Chris, or do you think that was on their upward trajectory?
Rust in Peace?
Yeah.
Rust in Peace is definitely the top of the food chain for them.
That is their pinnacle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, everything after it was not as good.
Okay.
There's not one record after it that's as good as Rust in Peace.
All right.
Rust in Peace is one of those albums that's like, I don't know, I would say top 5 of any metal album that's ever been recorded.
Sure. Now, in your estimation, being that Dave Mustaine used to be, or, was in the early version of Metallica, what would you put Rust in Peace up against in the Metallica catalog?
Master or Ride the Lightning?
Okay.
I'd put it right there. I mean, obviously, if you listen to the first Megadeth record and you listen to Kill 'Em All, you can definitely hear that Mustaine, was all over Metallica with the sound.
Right.
Even though he didn't play on it, he wrote the shit and then he redid it, remixed it, and redid it on his own album. So I would say that he's there, in that. But I mean, if I was compared to me, Rust in Peace is my favorite album of all time, metal wise, is definitely Master of Puppets, and I would put Rust in Peace right next to it.
Okay.
And then then Pantera for me with Southern Trendkill is my 3, which I know is not everybody's 3, but I just love the heaviness of that record.
Right. But
yeah, I would put it's a masterpiece. It's so near perfect. I can't think of anything that Megadeth. I mean, what's after it better? Countdown or Euthanasia or Cryptic Writings? Come on, it's not even in the same ballpark.
Right. All right. Just wanted your opinion.
Yeah. And somebody's already yelling at me to shut up, so apparently somebody doesn't agree with me.
What, in the chat room?
Yeah, of course. Someone doesn't agree with me, but whatever, that's fine.
You don't know what you're talking about, Chris.
Yeah, man.
That's not the way I see it.
I didn't. God damn it, Ben. You are fucking dumb. I said that Menza, I made a joke. I said Menza now is better than Lars now. It was a joke saying that Lars stinks, not shitting on Menza, you dummy. Jesus. Menza was a fucking tremendous drummer.
Yes.
I would definitely say that Menza in his peak is better than Lars in his peak.
Right.
Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think Lars is that great of a drummer.
No, neither does the world.
Yeah, well, that's my point. It's just like he's not somebody when you talk about the greatest drummers out there. I don't think Lars comes into mind, does he?
No, definitely not. Oh, it was in bad taste. Sorry, I didn't do a Christian show tonight.
It was in bad taste.
Stop it!
Somebody's worried about taste.
Bad taste on this show. Just stop.
Yeah.
Eddie Trunk is looking for listeners like you. Go listen.
Bad taste.
Jesus Christ.
Are you kidding me? Wow.
My God, I told a Nick Menza joke. Sorry, I told something topical to metal that was a joke on the CMS.
You said something offensive.
Christ. Oh, that's terrible.
I know. It was in bad taste. Please.
Sorry, I crossed your line. Sorry.
So
I should have checked first to see if there were any Nick Menza fans before I made a joke.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. I should be thrown out of this comedy club.
Wow.
Holy smokes, really? Just say fuck you, Chris, you're a dick, and that's it.
Yeah.
Move on. All right. Anyway, moving forward.
Well, I was turned on to something this week. A coworker suggested that I watch this this documentary on Netflix.
Okay.
And I watched it, and I'm thinking, I think that maybe Chris Aiken might enjoy the fucked upness of this.
Okay.
It's called Abducted in Plain Sight.
I've seen it advertised. I have not watched it.
Oh my God.
What's going on with this?
I don't want to give the whole thing away.
Is it a documentary or a show?
No, it's a documentary.
Okay.
It's a documentary. It takes place in the early 70s.
Okay.
And what it is that this Latter-day Saints family, Mormons,
okay,
they're duped by a fellow Mormon parishioner. He's a pedophile.
Okay.
And they had 3 daughters, and he basically had his eye out on one of their daughters.
Okay.
And he more or less charmed his way into their confidence, I guess.
All right.
And basically ran away with their 12-year-old daughter.
Oh, no. Jesus Christ.
But the thing is that his method of doing this was conquer and divide.
So he got like the mother approving and the dad not?
Well,
or
not necessarily approving. What he did was he keyed in. He was a sociopath.
Okay.
So he was able to figure out the weaknesses within the family to conquer and divide, so he could basically weaken the parental structure.
Okay.
And make off with the daughter.
Nice.
So he more or less charmed the mother and had an affair with her.
Okay.
And, because he just basically, oh, you're an attractive woman and you're really something else. And, if you were with me, life would be so much different, yada, yada, yada.
Sure.
And more or less, charmed her into having sex with him and things.
Jesus.
And then, here's the worst part. Now, mind you, that the people in this family are the ones telling the story.
Oh, boy.
So this is out of the mouths of the actual people who were duped.
Right, okay.
So this guy was married, right? He was married and had his own kids and things.
Okay.
And here's this is the part. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I know what your answer is going to be, and I know what my answer is, but it's just difficult for me to this older gentleman, because this took place in the 70s, so we're talking 40 years ago.
Sure.
This guy was already in his 30s then, and 40 years later, the guy's in his 70s now.
Okay.
He's telling his story about how he got duped by this guy.
Okay.
So it's the father of the 3 daughters and his wife, and they're all telling their side of the story.
Okay.
About what they remember happening and how this happened and whatever.
All right.
So this guy befriended the father, right? Got a lot in common. You're a businessman. I'm a businessman. You have a wife and family. I have a wife and family. We got a lot in common.
Okay.
But then they would get out on their own, like they'd go fishing or something, kind of like dudes hanging out.
Sure.
And while they're driving in the car, this guy is telling this father, he's like, man, he says, I'm so unhappy in my marriage, and I hate my wife, and she's a pain in my ass, and
right.
I'm just so I'm just so dissatisfied with her, and I'm just so unfulfilled. Talks this guy into give him a handy in the car.
Oh, Jesus. Are you kidding?
The guy is telling this story himself. That he gave this guy a handy. And I'm thinking to myself, because I actually was thinking of you in this scenario. If
was
this,
I giving or receiving?
No. Just what you would say about this.
Okay.
in the fact that if this, in any situation, no matter what it was, could you ever be talked into giving another dude a handy?
No.
Unless you had some gay tendencies yourself.
No. If someone ever, and I don't care what the situation is, approached me to give them a handy, the very next thing they're going to say is, ouch. Because they're going to get punched right in their fucking face.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. So, what does this say about this father guy? Did this guy key in on the fact that he had gay tendencies and could be duped into, acting in, in that way?
His gaydar was going off like Spider-Man in a room full of bank robbers.
Exactly. So, and here's the thing, and I hate to be stereotypical.
Yeah.
But you know what the father's business was?
What, surgical gloves?
No.
No idea.
He owned a florist shop.
Oh, nice.
So if you want to go stereotypical, it's just like, okay, you own a florist? You're a florist? Yeah. No wonder this guy asked you for a handy.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
because he was wearing baby's breath as a fucking wreath on his fucking wrist.
So I was trying to think. There would be no way, no scenario that I could even think of.
None.
Of giving my friend a handy.
Yeah, why not? Dude, next time you're down here, you don't want to give me a handy?
No.
Just rub one out while we're driving down the street somewhere. What's wrong with that?
So what happened here was that he ends up banging the wife.
The stranger guy is?
The neighbor, yeah.
The neighbor that wanted to get a handy from the husband.
Yes.
All right.
Ends up banging the guy's wife. Ends up getting
after or before he got the handy from the husband?
It was kind of simultaneously.
Oh, nice.
He was working both sides.
Good for him.
So what he did was that he more or less compromised both of them.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Then he took off with the daughter. All right. Now, mind you, this is early 1970s when things were pretty proper back then. Scandal was out of the question.
Sure.
Especially within a religious organization such as the Mormon belief.
Okay, sure.
Because you'll get ostracized. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
So he takes off with their daughter, their 12-year-old daughter. And he works on her too. He brainwashes her.
Okay. And
more or less turns it into the Stockholm syndrome where this girl is now reliant on this guy.
Okay.
Now I'm in love with him at 12 years old.
Right. Oh boy.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This
never
guy
to be broken again.
Yeah, this guy's a master manipulator.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that somewhere down the road he's going to end up getting caught.
Sure.
Which he does. He basically takes off and goes to Mexico with this girl.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And according to Mexican law, or the law in Mexico, you can get married to a 12-year-old there.
Oh, well, that's good.
So he married this girl in Mexico.
Nice.
But obviously would not be recognized here in the States.
No, not really.
Well, his brother, they were on a manhunt looking for him. They involved the FBI and everything, and so they were looking for this guy and, of course, the daughter. Right. And they finally realized this guy's in Mexico.
Okay.
Well, this guy's brother, who kind of has a bit of a conscience about this,
okay,
he decides he's going to more or less dupe his brother into telling him where he's at.
Okay.
And then the federales more or less swoop in and arrest this guy.
Right.
And he gets deported back to the States.
All right.
With this girl.
Nice.
So the girl comes back home, and this guy's in jail, facing charges for kidnapping and, various other things.
Okay.
And while he's in jail, this guy's wife, of all things, comes to the couple, the family, and persuades them to drop all the charges.
What?
Well, here's the thing.
Even though he kidnapped her daughter.
Yes. And the way he did it was, he said, if you don't drop all the charges and more or less say that I had your permission to take your daughter on quote unquote vacation, I'm going to expose our affairs with each other to the church and everybody else.
So they'd be ostracized by their church.
Yes.
Oh, God.
So under threat of embarrassment and being ostracized and all these other things, he had dirty laundry on him.
Yeah.
And so they didn't want to be exposed for being adulterers and, all this. And so they basically agreed that, it was consensual, that they consented to allow their daughter to go off with this guy. It's just a fucked up story.
I guess
that you got to see it for yourself. I don't want to give the whole thing away, but that's the gist of it.
Well, what's left?
Well, there's more. There's more.
You damn near told the whole story.
Well,
I can't imagine what's left.
I know, but you have to see it to appreciate the whole story, though.
I'll check it out.
So it's pretty fucked up. It's on Netflix. It's called Abducted in Plain Sight.
Yeah, I'll check that out. Yeah, I watched, and I know you don't generally watch these movies, but I love watching, not documentaries, but the ones that are like true to life story type things. Right,
reenactments.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I watched it just today, and I can't believe, with an array of stars that were pretty good actors, how they could ruin the story of the Zodiac killer.
Okay.
I watched that movie Zodiac. It was on Amazon Prime, I guess. And it has Jake Gyllenhaal in it, and it has Anthony Edwards in it, and a bunch of other people that are like character actors, but they're like character actors that you would recognize. And I was bored to tears watching this fucking movie.
Right.
And I'm like, and they even showed some of the killings. And even showing the killings were boring. Dude, the killer guy he finds this couple out on a lake and fucking makes them tie each other up and then pushes them down and then stabs them in the back in front of each other.
Okay.
Until they're dead. Boring. And you wonder yourself, how could that be boring? It was just dull.
Yeah.
He's stabbing them, and it was bad angles and no good shots of him actually getting some good grizzle on this fucking knife or nothing.
Okay.
It was beyond boring.
Yeah.
And then the whole investigation was boring. And, they kept focusing on, like, early in the movie, they said they brought in the guy that they suspected was the Zodiac killer.
Okay.
And they kept cutting back to this fucking guy, and it never got interesting. I don't know how else to explain it except that it was boring. I've never been bored in a serial killer movie.
Right.
And I literally fell asleep for a little bit in the middle of this fucking movie. It was dull, and it was about the Zodiac killer, and it had big names in it too. Big names that can act. And it just sucked. I was like, God damn it, what the fuck? Yeah, you're damn right, PC. It is not no Dorm Days 2. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Really wasn't. I'll take Dorm Days 2 over it any day of the week. It was fucking shit. It's not good.
Well, speaking of the whole documentaries, I think you may or may not have seen it, but they have a several part series about Ted Bundy.
Oh yeah.
Have you watched that?
The Bundy tapes?
Yes.
Yeah, I watched that.
Yeah, I just started that last night.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, it is.
It's fucked up that he was so, it was so obvious that he did it, and he just wouldn't admit to doing it. But then when everything was done, he's like, oh yeah, let's talk about where the bodies are.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the other guy.
Well, I don't want to say that I know a thing or two, but let me just tell you where everything is.
Right.
What a douche.
Now, if I did it, this is where I would have buried the bodies.
Yeah, it's like OJ, If I Did It, the book.
Yeah.
This is how I would have killed Nicole.
Right.
If I did it. Yeah, the Bundy tapes is it's real fucked up to hear him on tape, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, he's quite a fucking creep. But what's more fucked up is when they kept showing people that were outside going, "Oh, I love him."
Yeah, of course.
He doesn't look like he could kill people.
Well, that was part of his whole thing was, you know, because of the way that he looked, and you know, he was charming and he was well spoken, and you know, he didn't look like some kind of a monster.
Yeah, he's cute, so why would he beat somebody in the head with a fucking log?
Exactly.
Yeah, and dude, the way he killed people was fucked up.
Of course.
That shit where he was in the dorm and he just fucking took a log and just started whacking people from room to room. What the fuck? That's some scary shit there, man.
Well, what was interesting though is that you know, he talked about his early relationships with, you know, especially one woman.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And you know, when things kind of fell apart or broke off with her, mm-hmm. that, you know, he kind of blamed his behavior of killing people on the fact that he was getting back at her somehow.
Showed her.
Yeah.
By killing 30 others.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fucked up. Yeah, I did watch that documentary. That was quite the creep fest. Yeah, he's how far are you in on it?
I just got to the first 2 episodes. Okay.
I think there's only like 4, isn't there?
Yeah, I think there's 4.
Yeah, it's just fucked up hearing him talk, and you know, and Kurt, I'm going to give you a spoiler, but he dies.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
You know, but